Okay, so in case you're new, this is Pokemon Generation 1 Red version, and I'm seeing what is the lowest level I can beat the Elite Four with a Tentacruel. So Tentacruel has a few things going for it. It's actually got pretty decent stats, and its move pool is nice. It has Sword Stance and Barrier. So what I'm doing, since Dugong is locked into Rest, because Lower Elite thinks that it's super effective because it is classified as a Psychic move, I'm going ahead and I'm using Sword Stance and Barrier for two reasons. One, it will boost all my stats because of that badge boost thing that we talk about all the time. But two, it just boosts my stats because that's what the move does. So the first move, I was trying to go for a double edge to knock out Dugong, but I just didn't quite hit the range. So then it rests, and then I do it all over again. Double edge, the recoil doesn't matter because I'm going to get it all back here on Cloyster, or at least that was the plan anyway. I got some unlucky supersonic luck, but it did not confuse me in confusion that time, so that was nice. One thing I had to watch out, because I am able to do this at such a low level, I am going to level up, and I wish I would have leveled up before the Slowbro, but it just didn't happen that way, because then I could have waited and done the badge boost before. So that is going to make Jinx and Lapras pretty difficult. Slowbro also cannot do anything to me because it is locked into Amnesia. Again, it's a psychic type move, and so Lorelei thinks it's super effective. Jinx can be pretty threatening, but Double Slap does just about nothing because of Barrier. So I go ahead and go for Double Edge. Her defense is not very good, and that critical hit was nice. Something to note, if you do have the badge boost going on and you hit a critical hit, sometimes it can actually be less, but since I leveled up, there was no badge boost. And then it got really close with the Lapras, but thank goodness for Barrier. I go ahead and I go for Mega Drain, and it just didn't do it. So then I got pretty lucky here that it kept going for Body Slam, and I was able to take out the Lapras. At this point, I just said, screw it, let's go for Double Edge. If the recoil takes me out, fine, but I was able to beat Lorelei, so then we'll be... Okay, so this is me trying to beat the Elite Four with the lowest level Pokemon possible, and I am on Bruno. Honestly, Bruno is such a joke. I am just speeding through this one because all I'm going to do is use Barrier, so whatever move he uses does absolutely nothing, and then Surf takes him out. Surf takes out the Hitmonchan, critical hit, didn't even matter about my badge boost. And then there's a conveniently placed Onyx right after Hitmonlee, so if there is any damage done to me, I can just heal it all up. So then the final Pokemon is just not even a threat, so Bruno again is just a joke. Okay, so this one actually felt pretty good about. I felt like I used some elite strategies in it, so I'm trying to beat the Elite Four with the lowest level Pokemon possible. I've got a level 43 Tentacruel. So I go ahead and I do Ice Beam for this one because basically I have to freeze the Gengar. Otherwise I really just can't get through. Even using Mimic and trying to copy Nightshade, it just doesn't do enough. So then I froze the Gengar and I started going for my Sword Stance. But what I'm afraid of is if I get rid of my Sword Stance by leveling up all the badge boostings that I got, I'm not going to be able to beat the last Gengar. So what I do here is I badge boost as much as possible, and then she switches Pokemon. So then I have this wonderful idea. Hey, that Gengar is frozen. And in Gen 1, if you're frozen, you don't unfreeze unless you use like a full restore, full heal, or I use a fire move on you. So I just keep going for Sword Stance or Barrier, and I'm just waiting for this Gengar to switch out again. Because what you'll see is I'll level up right after the last Gengar, if I get there, right? Spoiler alert. So basically just using the whole thing that Agatha switches out Pokemon, which not a lot of trainers in this game even do. And then Nightshade by Haunter. So even though I have this kind of little strategy going on, it is not free. I mean, this one was very difficult to beat. I was on this one for quite a while. So then you've got the frozen Gengar out again, so I'm just wasting my time using Sword Stance, using Barrier, waiting for her to switch again. And I've only got 33 HP, so I got to get pretty lucky even at this point to get through. And since I got rid of Mega Drain, there really is no way for me to restore any HP points. So after quite some time, finally, the Gengar is going to swap out again. So, but I just keep going for it. And then Arbok, not easy. I don't believe this is a one-shot. I could be wrong. Nope, was a one shot, but still has the last Gengar that I gotta beat. So I go again, just go ahead. I keep hitting barrier, doing nothing about it. Agatha is known for her little tricks and games. So then I go for Surf. Still haven't leveled up. Toxic. I mean, that was just perfect. Even if it would have hit, I don't think it would have been that big a deal because right here I level up. So that's what I was trying to avoid. But since the first Gengar is frozen, it's still free, still easy for me to get through. So I go ahead and I use Surf, and look how little that did after I leveled up. So that just kind of shows how hacked the badge boost is. Alright, we're almost there. This is the lowest level you can possibly beat the game, Pokemon Red, with the Tentacruel. So I'm up against a Gyarados. Gyarados was a little difficult, certainly not free, but kind of same strategy as Agatha. I gotta freeze the Gyarados. It can hit me with some stuff that really puts me out. Once I freeze it, I'm safe to use all my badge boosts. Um, I was gonna hold on to some, but just the way that I was going to level up, it wasn't really going to matter too much. And then the Dragonair are free because they'll just use agility. So even if I do level up, it's not that big a deal. But basically, I was going to level up here anyway. So the barrier was the main thing that I needed because Sword Stance is irrelevant because I'm using special moves. But then Surf goes ahead and knocks it out. So that was pretty awesome. Ice Beam knocks out the Dragonite. So pretty easy.
Okay, we did it. We made it to Gary, level 46. I did this about 100 times. There was so much of me that wanted to level up and use some rare candies, but I didn't because I wanted to keep that level low. Check out these stats. Pretty decent speed. Very good special. The rest is not wonderful. I swapped out Ice Beam for Blizzard. Blizzard is about 90% accurate, so not that bad as far as missing goes compared to what it's at now. And we get the freeze. You pretty much have to get the freeze because if Pidgeot gets a wing attack or a sky attack on you, it's not looking good. But since we get the freeze, we go ahead and we use Swords Dance. The main reason for that is one, we have Hyper Beam, so a 3 Swords Dance Hyper Beam is just a one shot for most things. But also we need to outspeed the Alakazam. So now that we outspeed the Alakazam, Hyper Beam knocks it out. If you don't outspeed the Alakazam, it's either going to go for Reflect, which is going to make your Hyper Beam not a one-shot, and two, we're Poison type, so it's Psychic or Side Beam, does a whole lot of damage. When you knock out a Pokemon with Hyper Beam in Gen 1, you don't have to recharge. Rhydon, sometimes you want to keep it around because if it uses Leer or Tail Whip, it helps you out with the badge boost. But Executor is one of the main reasons why taking any damage before him is really rough because of Hypnosis. And in this one, we got lucky that it missed. But Hypnosis can really put you out, and he's relatively bulky. So now that we level up, we lose our badge boost, but that's okay because we naturally outspeed the Gyarados, and we go for Hyper Beam and we miss. And if he would have used Hyper Beam, it would have been really bad, but he didn't, so we're okay. And then our second Hyper Beam hits, taking any level of damage before the Charizard. I got to the Charizard a handful of times, and if it uses Rage, you're good, but if it uses pretty much anything else, it's not good. We got very lucky. He used Rage, which is probably the worst move in the game. We hit with Hyper Beam, but even if we would have missed, it would have been okay because he's locked into Rage for the rest of the battle. So there we go. That must be a world record. Level 47. Thank you for watching.